Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see the buzz in this room. Delighted to see such good numbers coming in for this session. My name is Swati Shri. I'm the head of India, Middle East and Africa team for Invest Northern Ireland. I'm based in Dubai. As a part of the International and Skills Group for Invest NI, one of our main goals is to support external sales growth for our client companies. Many of you here might be aware that the funding from the New Deal for Northern Ireland, Invest NI is expanding Northern Ireland's presence on an international stage to support NI businesses in new locations. And one such location is Mumbai in India. The Mumbai office is co-located within the British Deputy High Commission, and the office will be instrumental in assisting more Northern Ireland businesses access opportunities in the country. India is truly at the crust of a growth boom. It is an economic powerhouse, projected to be the world's third largest economy by 2050, and by 2030, India is projected to be the fourth largest global importer. A population of 1.4 billion, it is predicted to overtake China this year as the most populous nation on earth. All this, of course, staggering numbers, right? But provides immense opportunity for businesses from Northern Ireland to explore India as a potential market. That's why I'm thrilled that we are hosting this event today with distinguished panel members. We will highlight the opportunities in the market, information on route to market, and provide Northern Ireland businesses an opportunity to engage with our team, Sai and Sonali here. It is now my pleasure to welcome Alan Gemmell, OBE, British Deputy High Commissioner for Western India and His Majesty's Trade Commissioner for South Asia. Prior to his appointment as HMTC in 2020, Alan was the Chief Executive of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council. He's worked in Brazil, India, Israel, and Mexico with the British Council and was the director of the British Council in India from 2016 to 18. Alan will now provide his insights into India as a market of choice. Over to you, Alan. Thank you.
So, when I was last in Belfast 20 years ago, and the minute someone said there's a chance to do a session there, I jumped at it, not least to have my first Ulster Fries since 2020. So I feel I have achieved all that I need to. That was done by 9 o'clock this morning. But it's great to be here, and it's great to see the changes that have gone on here. My best mate is a Labour politician called Conor McGinn, and he used to live in Newry. I mentioned him outside, and somebody even knew that he went to Bestbrook School. So that is networking par excellence. Anyway, he's now a Labour politician in St Helens, but he took me here in 2000 and down to Newry, and I lived his life for a couple of days. And it's absolutely amazing to be back here now and see the changes, the economic development, and the growth story that Belfast and Northern Ireland are going to go on. So I will tell you a bit about why India, a bit about the UK and India. I'll touch a little on our free trade agreement. And then there are some sectors that I will speak about. So you heard a bit about those numbers. India it wins the league of big numbers in any competition. If you think you can do top trumps with India, it will definitely beat you. It is absolutely on track to be a 5 trillion economy by 2025, maybe a $10 trillion economy by 2035. And Prime Minister Modi would like for India's 100th birthday for it to be a middle-income country. All of that feels absolutely doable on the trajectory that India is on. It's not just going to be the fourth largest global importer by 2030. It is already the largest importer of Scotch whisky by volume. So 219 million bottles of something I care a lot about went to India last year from Scotland, up 60% on 2021. Not the largest market by value, that's still the US, but really an incredibly important market to the Scotch whisky industry. When I went to see the Macallan distillery, which I thoroughly recommend, this is a product placement talk, so go there. They showed me their, I think it's maybe 100 million, maybe double that, investment in distillery in Speyside, and they have 5 world-class vats there and a big gaping hole, which they assured me if the India numbers continue, that will be filled, that hole, to send Scotch from the Macallan distillery to Mumbai and other places. So it's big. 1.4 billion people. The bit of India that I am most excited by isn't where the people like you and me congregate. So in India's 8 metros, maybe there are about 200 million people living sort of middle-classy existence. The bit of India I get excited by is where the 1.1, 2 or 3 billion live, in its second and third tier cities. I toured 25 of those earlier this year to understand its growing industries and its biggest employers. I went to 4 steel plants, bottling plants, where Mahindra make their tars, in this sort of Japanese robotic factory, state-of-the-art, where the chassis and the hood came together like a sort of bit, something from Phantom of the Opera. But what I saw in those second-tier cities was people working 6-day weeks, getting £200 a month for that, 8 hours a day. If they have two people in the family working in those kind of numbers, they've got a home, they've got a car, they maybe have kids in something like private school, and they've access to healthcare from their employer probably. In those bits of India, there are massive improvements in people's lifestyles. And there are significant jumps in economic activity. In the state of Orissa, which is known for mining, the chief minister there may have the biggest smile in India, because in the early 2000s, he was making $250 million a year from the royalties in mining. 10 years on, he's now making $3 to $4 billion a year for his state on the royalties from the mining industry. So the growth in India is exactly what the numbers suggest. I would say at every price point, and I would say in every bit of the country. In those second-tier cities, I went to see, I jumped into Kolkata, which is important because CDL Ireland have a great plant there, CDL Asia, which is exporting their wet processing technologies, making sand and aggregate. I went 7 hours from Maharashtra to a great place called Aurangabad, named after Prince Aurangzeb, who was Shah Jahan's son. And there, Sterlite, a company, makes almost all of British Telecom's fibre optic cables. They would say turning sand into broadband. My next door neighbour, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, runs maybe one of the world's biggest telephone businesses with 600 million mobile phone subscribers, a business he started from zero, with the help of the world's largest oil refinery in Jamnagar in the state of Gujarat. So there are stories like, in this bit of India that I love, which I saw, there are stories like that are legion. In an SEZ, in a special economic zone on the border of Mumbai and Karnataka, a company called Aquis makes precision engineering parts for Airbus and Boeing. You know, there's little things, maybe some of those little things that are $1,000 a piece for export. What the company found out was that once you start to get into that level of quality and precision, there's only a couple of other industries that need that technology or that specificity, one of them being the toy business. So on one bit of their site, they're making these precision manufacturing points. In a neighbouring warehouse, they are India's biggest Nerf gun manufacturer. I tell you all of that to say it's big and it's booming, and when I get out the door every morning, I feel that there's 100,000 people going in the same direction as me, and it's very nice to be in that energy and in that ambitious and optimistic frame of mind. It's the UK-India partnership is also a very successful one. A series of British Prime Ministers, maybe a few more than we expected, have made the same commitment to Prime Minister Modi, which is that we will double trade by 2030. Trade up to 2022, quarter 3 2022 was 34 billion in the 4 quarters up to 2022 last year. We had 2 visits by Boris Johnson as Prime Minister, one virtual, one physical. Over 12 months of those visits, we announced, businesses announced an additional £2 billion of trade and investment between the UK and India, and 18,000 jobs in the UK from Indian investors. A lot of that in tech and in healthcare, but in many, many sectors of the economy too. One of the things that will get us to that 2030 goal is an ambitious and comprehensive free trade agreement. We've got an absolutely brilliant chief negotiator, Harjinder Kang, leading those negotiations. We've said that we've concluded, I think, more than half of the chapters, maybe more than that we've said now. We're hoping for an ambitious and comprehensive deal that covers the gamut of our relationship. We'd like that to be goods and services. We'd like to talk about investment. We see that as a critical enabler to getting your businesses to do much more business in India, and we feel there's an opportunity for the UK to be at the front of a number of an interesting pack of countries that want to do free trade agreements with India, and a few that have been done. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about particular sectors. But before that, just to say one of our biggest announcements took place 10 days ago, where Air India, which had recently been privatised by the Tata Group, who are significant investors in the UK, maybe our biggest private sector employer, Tata bought back what was the national carrier, Air India, and announced in January or last week at Aero India, a big Air Expo, they announced an order from Boeing and Airbus of almost 500 aircraft, 220 Airbus aircraft, which will see something like 450 jobs and £100 million worth of investment into the UK. I'm partly jet lagged because last night, or 2 nights ago now, I was celebrating St. David's Day. You have been saved from my Hindi and my Welsh, both of which are improving. But at that event, it was really important to say that Tata announcement is big for the Welsh economy, because wings for some of the Airbus planes are made there. So we'll see that significant investment create jobs and growth across various bits of the UK. So that now I'll look at a couple of sectors, urban and infrastructure. So there are significant opportunities in this sector in India. A national infrastructure pipeline which envisages capital investment worth £1.2 trillion by 2025. And you can feel that investment in infrastructure taking place. I went to a city called Gorakhpur, which is in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has 200 million people in it. And as you go around Gorakhpur, you can see its 2-lane roads becoming 4-lane roads in front of your eyes. The minister responsible for roads has about $2.7 billion for the roads budget. He is creating 200,000 kilometres of national highway by 2025 and awarding 16,000 kilometres of roads contracts. There are big opportunities for UK engineering consultancy services in this sector, and we already see great successes for companies like Larsen & Toubro. I am very excited about India's EV transformation, so electric vehicles. There's a great British startup called Cosys, which has won a 7,000 bus contract for the state of Maharashtra. They're putting in a $400 million investment in that state to create a gigafactory. And again, in that state of Uttar Pradesh, Cosys have said that they will create India's first gigafactory ecosystem with more than £1 billion worth of investment. Sorry. Also on engineering and manufacturing, I've touched a bit on this, but according to the Cushman & Wakefield 21 Global Manufacturing Risk Index, India has emerged as the second most attractive manufacturing destination globally after China. We are seeing significant opportunities for UK companies. I've touched a bit on Rolls-Royce when I went around these cities. There are opportunities to do JVs with Indian companies, manufacture in India. It's an important part of Prime Minister Modi's a long-term pitch for the country that it becomes a manufacturing hub, and we're seeing great companies from across the UK entering into JVs trusting their partners, having their IP protected and getting making for India, but also for the world. JCB has been in India since 1979. They've got 6 factories. They have a new factory which they opened in the state of Gujarat, which was Prime Minister Modi's state as Chief Minister. Boris Johnson went to that visit. You might have seen it. They're India's biggest construction vehicle business. 1 in every 2 construction machines in India now are JCB. And in 2022, they made 14,000 vehicles for export. And the Baroda site will be, I think, principally for export. So there are lots of examples that you can, I think, learn from these companies if you're thinking that this is a market that might work for you. I'm fighting with the. There we go. So there are also big opportunities in this section, food and drink. We are very pleased that India is the largest market by volume for Scotch whisky. There are, though, and it's great that we have our colleagues from UK IPC here, there are, though, challenges for doing business in India. There can be market access barriers, there can be central and state level barriers. The free trade agreement will seek to open up as many tariff lines and have as open an economy, a trading relationship as we possibly can. But between us, at the High Commission, but also with the UK India Business Council, we are working with industry to try and take those barriers away. So in the state of Maharashtra, I live in Mumbai, and in the state of Maharashtra, there was a 300% customs duty on Scotch whisky. And with our friends in UK IBC and the Scotch Whisky Association, we lobbied the government of Maharashtra. Helpfully, they came to COP in Glasgow, so they got heavy lobbying from us about what would happen if they reduced that exorbitant duty. And they did it. They took 300% down to 150%, so still a high number. But we said that if they did that, they would see a significant increase in revenue, as you would all expect. And one of the main British whisky businesses was able to show that post that policy change, in 1 quarter, the state of Maharashtra got 4 quarters worth of excise. Now that's partly because 300% forces people to be bringing booze in from other states. There was a bit of leaching going on, but also there was a bit of illicit whiskey too. So I show that because we can work with you if you're in a sector where you think, actually maybe there are some barriers, or this is a harder market. I could do something in another bit of the world. If you're in this sector and you feel that there are challenges for your business, please come and chat to me or to Chris from UK IDC or get in touch to see how we can help you do that. I talked a bit about the 1.1 billion Indians. In that other set of those kind of middle class consumers, there is, I think you'll hear a bit in time, there is a desire for really great international products in India. I'm never tired of telling folk that I live in a rich bit of one of the richest cities in the country. So there's a fancy supermarket at the end of my street. They very happily sell punnets of blueberries from Oregon for £20. And people are buying them. So we know that there are significant opportunities for UK food and drink businesses at many price points to get into the Indian market, and we really want to help you do that. There are also many opportunities in India's healthcare and life sciences business. It has world-class private hospital groups who with a clear profit a signal looking to transform healthcare across the country. We've seen significant opportunities for UK businesses. A robotic surgery company called CRM Surgical had a £200 million export win with an Indian hospitals group. So there's significant transformation going on across the healthcare and life science ecosystem. And if you're in that sector, we'd love to see more of you taking advantage of the significant growth that we think we will see there. There's a significant Department of International Trade, as was now Department for Business and Trade presence across India. I run a team of 120 people. They're in 8 or 9 offices. We've got great connections with state governments, with business partners. There are great people in the room like UKIBC, but also Sanam S4, who can help you do market entry. So think big about India, and I think you can get a really good return. It's very nice to be with you today. Thank you.